So, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this film series titled Gandhi Revisited Through Films, a series of film screenings and the films being curated by Ratnottama Sengupta. It is an effort to try and see how those born after 1948 relate to Gandhi. So it's a kind of re-look at the principles, the teachings, the portrayal of Gandhi. He has been portrayed in a particular manner in these films, and many of us have seen quite a few of these films before, but maybe looking at these films today, we may be seeing them from a different perspective. And that is what we would like to also discuss after the screenings. So may I invite Dr. Jayanta Sengupta, Secretary and Curator of Victoria Memorial Hall, to kick off proceedings.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the kickoff of this series of screenings on Gandhi that we're doing, Gandhi Revisited Through Films. I have nothing much to add to what Mr. Raju Raman already said and what the curator is going to say, except the fact that, like on everything else that we try to do in the Victoria Memorial Hall, we wanted to generate a conversation on Gandhi and what the man and his ideas meant. And these conversations are meant to be engaged and critical conversations so that we can make meanings of Gandhi in our time. Those of us who haven't seen him in action or who haven't lived through the times that he lived through, but is he just a vacuous word bereft of all meaning in today's world, or does he still carry some meaning, whatever those meanings are? And it is up to us to find those meanings and to engage with the idea, the persona, and the symbol of Gandhi in these times. So thank you so much for coming to this screening. We will have a screening each Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. in this hall. And with Kumaravatara, we kick off these proceedings. So please don't only watch the films. These are wonderful films, but please also join in the conversation that these films are supposed to generate. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jayanta. I would like to now request Ratnottama Sengupta to please come up and give a few words of introduction about the idea behind curating these particular set of films and what is in store for us these coming weeks up to the end of October. Ratnottama. Of course, we are not separately introducing Ratnottama to you because she is a known person in the city, a senior journalist from the Times of India. She has retired from the Times of India, and she has been closely associated with films in many capacities, not only as a journalist, but also as a film curator, film selection person for various film festivals, not only restricted to Calcutta and other parts of India, but also at the international level. So please welcome Ratnottama Sengupta.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. This, for me in particular, it's a very important evening. Dr. Jayanta Sengupta, Dr. Raju Raman, my friend, and all of you here. Victoria Memorial is something very dear to our heart. Of course, she sits there even today in all her gravity. But if you look at this little brochure, you'll see somewhere we've tried to show what these films eventually will lead you to think. Somewhere Gandhi has overtaken even the grand lady. And he did, without really picking up a weapon, perhaps other than satyagraha or khadi or such innocuous things. Now, why do we talk about these things. We've been hearing from our childhood. I was barely into my teens when this man turned 100. He died before I was born. So many in the audience are much younger than I, and they would be wondering, I mean, like, oh, ঠিক আছে একটা গান্ধী বাবা তো অনেক বছর হয়ে গেছে কেন? Why? I'll just take 2 minutes to take you back into my life. I was at Oxford. I did a fellowship, and the subject was Ruskin's influence on Gandhi and Tagore. Of course, like most Bengalis, we grow up in families where Gandhi is not the reigning deity. But when I looked closely, and Gandhi and Tagore had their differences, huge differences in the entire approach to the concept of nationalism. So how can one man like John Ruskin, who himself is seen as a kind of maverick today, how could he have influenced two of these greatest personalities of our nation, of the world, and of our times too, not just of their times? That is when I started looking closely at the words and the actions of these two men whom we take for granted. MG Road, Faces on the Currency. Currency notes, of course, only from 96 it became mandatory. But before that it wasn't so much so. But today, anybody can think, I mean, like MG Gandhi kaun hai? Like Babar Naam Gandhi ji will show you. But the whole thing is, why do we need to look? We have this tendency. Very recently there was Rath Jatra in Puri, where the practice started. The icon is there round the year. He's taken out for 7 days and reinstalled on the 8th day. What happens is a spring cleaning of the place, of the temple. Even an icon has to be reinstalled and re-established. So what to talk of the nation's leaders or fathers or whoever, even our lives, we do that. We reassess, revalue. And not only reevaluate, we relate, re-relate. Is he still anything worth putting our flowers at his feet? So this was an attempt. You'll see all the films except the making of the Mahatma are very minimally related about Gandhi, but indirectly. It's like a kaleidoscope. You'll see many of these films look at different aspects that we would not be talking about if it was not for this one man, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. To start off with today's film, I will continue to speak later. I will read out only the director's note briefly, and then we'll go into the film. The film is called Kurmavatar, and a lot of people have asked me, why Kurmavatar? I don't know how many of you know Kurma, tortoise, is the second of the Dasa avatars. And why Kurmavatar? Because the tortoise served as the base for the mountain when the Samudra Manthan happened, the churning of the ocean. And what happened as a result? Its back got crushed. That is what the mythology or the myth is. That is how it got the cracks on its back. Gandhi is the Kurmavatar. The nation's churnings happened around this man. He was the pivot for the churnings, and he had to pay with his life. Director's note, Girish Kasaravalli. He got the Best Kannada Film Award. I was in the jury that year. The old Gandhian in my film, Kurmavatar, says, Gandhiji emphasized that we need to have ethics in all our deeds. Of all social philosophers, Girish Kasarvali continues, of all social philosophers, Gandhiji is one person, perhaps the only person, to emphasize on the moral and ethical values in our actions, in all our actions, be it personal, professional, social, or political. Can this Gandhian approach, though very poignant, work like the kurma or the mythical tortoise did when it lifted the sinking earth during the Samudra Manthan? In a consumerist model of society, which our nation and the whole world has embraced, where marketability and the economics rules the roost, does this Gandhian approach hold any water? This is the question I want to raise through the film. Watch the film, enjoy it, and we can talk about it later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ratnatama. The film runs for 117 minutes, which is almost 2 hours, after which Ratnatama will be only happy to answer any questions if there are any. So we'll go straight into the film. If somebody could switch off the lights, please.
And if everybody could please.
Oh yeah, of course. Mobile phones. I feel odd saying that every time. And then yet one or the other mobile rings. So please put your mobile phones on silent.
Did any of you feel you were watching a biopic or a documentary on Gandhi? Quite contemporary, quite today's values, problems, ethics. And yet at the same time, every time I watch this film, I've now seen it for 4 or 5 times, I'm amazed at the layers, the parallels, and how beautifully the problems have been addressed once again. Whether it's the partition, whether it's appeasement of the other community, whether it is trying to clean up your own house in terms of caste discriminations, in terms of other problems, values. There are many visuals which have been used by the director. Of course, one very small, very insignificant one is where the grandson and the grandfather are trying to walk, just step together. There are many such small nuggets all through the film. But the one image that stays with me is where he says that, of course, the climax is another very powerful one, where he says that I've lost even the moral value. Today, is any one of us bothered about the word moral? I mean, capitation fees in schools, bribing in any form, everything is legit. In fact, if a man says, no, I will not do this, ये तो येड़ा है, पागल है. Anyway, so the whole concept in this festival, I don't know whether we should be calling it a festival, because it's more of really a churning. Because every film will bring forward one aspect in which Gandhi continues to touch our lives, and it will make you question your own thoughts, your own self, your own values. Any questions or any difference of opinion with the director, with any of the lines? We'll be very happy, because this is what the attempt is. We need to understand what the other is thinking or feeling. See, these films are not really made with a commercial interest. So I really wouldn't be able to say. And then the other thing is Girish Kasravali's films, like most of Satyajit Ray or Mrinal Sen, I mean, they might be loftier, they might be, they are the teachers of the next generation filmmakers like Kasravali. But Kasravali is in the same bracket in the sense that his films are not just about the weekend collection. Pothir Panchali, when it was released, was a flop. I don't know whether this was a flop in that sense, but
Theatrical run,
yes.
but not for too long. Yeah, in Karnataka, it was released and it ran for just about 2 weeks, I think.
But no, NFDC, I had done a story, so I can give you this for a fact, that NFDC over the years has made more money through a film like Pothir Panchali or a film like Gandhi, a few of these, than it has, Bhuvan Shom, than they have done with some of the other so-called films which they thought would be quote-unquote hit. So I remember Mrinalda once told me that our audiences don't lie in just one city or a country even, or over one weekend. It lies in pockets all over the world. And anyone who wants to reassess the ideals or the thoughts will return to films like this, I think so. But Basant Patil also is a very successful producer, and he has backed Girish in a big way, consistently. He's one of the very successful producers of Karnataka. Anybody else? Any other question?
Maybe you can continue the discussion over tea outside. Yeah?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.